Welcome to Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. I'm Michele Cobb, and we're celebrating AudioFile selections for the best audiobooks of the year. Today, we're talking about science fiction and fantasy, and my special guest, narrator Moira Quirk, joins us. Let's kick off with AudioFile's 2024 Best Audiobooks in Science Fiction and Fantasy list. The Crone of Midnight Embers by Iris Beaglehole, read by Bethan, Dixon, Bate. The Mercy of Gods by James S.A. Corey, read by Jefferson Mays. The Stars Too Fondly by Emily Hamilton, read by Vico Ortiz. The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden, read by Michael Crouch and January LaVoy with the author. When Among Crows by Veronica Roth, read by Helen Laser, James Fooey, and Tim Campbell. And Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang, read by Moira Quirk. Welcome, Moira.
Hello.
Congratulations on being named one of the best sci-fi and fantasy audiobooks of 2024.
Thank you. Or one of the lucky narrators who got a really, really good book.
Well, it's always a good book that is enhanced by narration.
It's a partnership.
Exactly. I always say a marriage, right? I would love for you to give us a sentence or two about Blood Over Brighthaven. What is it about?
I will say where it takes place in a city called Tehran, which is a successful, thriving metropolis in an area that is otherwise communities are dying all around them. It's a continent that is suffering, and it is thriving because of this sort of amalgam of magic, science. And so it is like fantasy in that it sort of discusses colonialism and, I guess, fascism to a degree, although that's sort of a bandied about phrase now. But yeah, it's one of those mirrors to our society fantasies.
Ooh, then I have to ask, what did you like about this book, if it mirrors today?
Mirrors today. Yes, that was a struggle, perhaps. I like being challenged a bit. It has sort of the trope of the misogynistic culture and the feisty, clever girl triumphing, except the triumph is perhaps rather double-edged. And it also had I thought this book, there are sort of many philosophies throughout fantasies, and it's generally, I would imagine, sort of Judeo-Christian that, good will out, hard work is rewarded, good intentions are rewarded. And this one is, what was the result?
Hmm.
No matter what your intention was, did you do good? And if you didn't, it's a bit of a brutal philosophy.
I mean, I'm listening to a lot of books with a bit of brutality in them today. It's interesting.
Yes. Yes, maybe these are our times. I mean, and it's sort of this book, I think it sets up, when you're sort of there's foreshadowing and setting up, and I kind of feel like everything is successfully addressed. There are no loose threads in this book. And I think the philosophy itself is completely justified, shown to be true. And it absolutely marries with a character who has risen and succeeded and gone through life through science. And so science is about result. It's not about what you wanted it to be or what your hypothesis you thought it would result. It is the actual result. And this is a book with an actual result.
Well, it's interesting you keep referencing science because science fiction and science often are a little far apart. So I'm very curious, is there anything you find particularly challenging about recording in this genre?
It's what's great about it is cast of thousands.
Hmm.
And what's challenging about it is cast of thousands. And also some of the most immense pronunciation request lists ever. I mean,
Right.
just the amount of, well, I'd better get that right and I'd better be consistent with it. And is this going to be a trilogy? So that one time that one word is referenced. I'd better ask for a pronunciation for that too, just in case.
I know for me as a listener, I appreciate the narrator when it comes to science fiction and fantasy because I don't know how to pronounce it. I would make up a crazy word or I'll just use the first letter of the word if I don't know what it is. So thanks for doing that work for me.
You're welcome. I mean, and it's sort of funny how you realize how you approach the written word. I mean, it is so surprising if just well, I know. I mean, you can approach a word and you go, well, I can think of 6 different ways that this can be pronounced, and then when you put in the request, you go, aha, and there is a 7th.
Well, it's good that you have that assist, hopefully from the author.
Yes, I think they are generally quite happy to assist, and or they're just like, "Nah, you have at it," and I'm happy with either.
Now, you also narrate a lot of fantasy. Do you think that there's a big difference between science fiction and fantasy, especially as you prepare, or is it really just all you need this help?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I think I approach all books, all genres the same way. You're just looking for the characters. Do they have an arc? You're looking at what the tone is. Does the tone change? Are you walking on a knife edge of tone?
Mm.
And more specifically, just when you're looking at that particular page, is the story happening or is the story being told at that specific time? Just that. I mean, which is all literature. So yeah, I approach it the same way, and if that's wrong, well, I guess I'll have to learn that.
No, I don't think it's wrong at all. I think you're obviously
Yeah.
doing great work, so it's working very well.
Thank you.
And I'm curious, what about this particular book do you think makes it unique as an audiobook experience?
Goodness. Oh God, this is always what's so, I don't know, difficult or sad about, because whenever I get a fantasy title, in my off hours, or from reading The Hobbit when I was 8 on, I love maps, and that's such a huge part of fantasy. It seems like, oh, I will pore over those maps. So that's sort of something that gets set aside, unless maybe it's in a PDF. But I think it's sort of working out your worlds and be you. I mean, obviously, I have this accent. This one in particular, so working out how your different sort of range of characters and your range of accents and dialogues, how that's sort of going to help give a sense of place, because there's so much to do with place, and community and in fantasy.
Hmm.
And in this one, we had a request that certain peoples would either be very sort of middle class, what we would call middle class English, or American. And so I went, yeah, sure, I'll do American. It's certainly my wheelhouse, and we started, and I did have a director for this one, and we stopped, and he went, no. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, it's not you. It's just I don't feel this world. And we had such a discussion about, and it really sort of made the world so much more cohesive if I sort of kept to the more sort of British Isles accents for this particular book. And I'm happy, because if ever there is a sequel or anything else that comes down the line, if this world expands, if there are different continents, then they can certainly grow with perhaps dialects, accents that have not been used yet, and give that sort of mirrored community continent.
Well, it sounds like we have lots to look forward to should a sequel come.
We have to ask ML Wang if they'll oblige us. I'm not sure.
Well, we'll put it out into the ether for you. How about that?
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you so much, Moira.
Oh, thank you. It's been lovely to chat. I'm sure we could go on for hours.
We definitely could. Yes. We've been talking with Moira Quirk about Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. Please spread the word to your friends and come back tomorrow for more Best of the Year discussions. The full 2024 Best Audiobooks list is available at audiofilemagazine.com. I'm Michele Cobb. Thanks for listening.
Behind the Mic is brought to you by The Exception to the Rule, a captivating short story by Christina Lauren, narrated by Marley Watson and Andrew Gibson. It's named one of Audible's Best of the Year.